its opposite day.
Unorthodox.
The focus of today's lesson is disqualification. It is one of the most counterintuitive techniques in sales. And forget everything you know about looking for customers, prospecting and such, because the goal of disqualification is to meet customers and tell them that you don't want to sell them in particular. And it's one of the most difficult aspects of sales, right? Because it utilizes the power of saying no, playing on what Elizabeth Taylor said, that it's not about having a thing, it's about getting the thing. So, a lack of neediness. You see that in successful people. They're not too available. They play hard to get. Not afraid to walk away. Not afraid to talk to other people. They're not afraid to make it look like if the customer doesn't act soon, they'll lose their chance. They understand a basic of human nature. The harder we work, the more we value. So the lesson: be the person giving validation. Don't ever need validation. And one of the quickest and most playful ways to accomplish this is through disqualification. To disqualify your customer, you demonstrate early to them in an interaction that you're not interested in their sale or such, even though you may be chasing after them. What disqualification does is it turns the table, makes the customer chase you. Telling the customer, for instance, that for some reason you've only had customers of a particular C segment and not a particular line of business, for instance. And if this concept sounds odd, well, consider this, that great customers are constantly approached by salespeople. And a great customer will assume that every salesperson just wants to close a deal, no matter how unscrupulous. So when you take yourself out of that market in a confident way, you immediately stand out. After all, most people want what they can't have. Another advantage is that disqualifying your customer, especially when they're in a group, can help you win over their friends that they usually come to help repel salespeople away when they're checking out their options in store. So, lastly, disqualification helps to build trust ultimately. It demonstrates that you're not solely motivated by the desire to win over this check. By waiting before showing interest in this particular person, you give them an opportunity to win you over with their charm, their problems, their unique criterias, and their intelligence for choosing the product or service. So not every relationship requires disqualification. Sometimes a sales conversation can flow smoothly, right? But once you get comfortable using disqualifiers, you'll realize that not only are they commonplace, but they're like bedrock skills for sales. Use with caution, however, always with humor, always light-handed, never hostile, never critical, never judgmental. delicate with people that have fragile self-esteem that you might find out in the field. As well, be careful of not looking too cocky. Smile, definitely deliver a disqualifier in an offhanded way, as though you were not looking for a reaction, because if you were looking for a reaction, it loses its effectiveness. You become needy as a result. Put another way, screening, right? Customers have a tendency of testing salespeople, and they do it for many reasons. They want the best from among many different providers. They've been hurt in the past, financially, emotionally, socially sometimes. They don't want the same mistakes. So they want confirmation that you're authentic. You possess qualities like professionalism, you're credible, you have references that establish you. These are things that, of course, attract the customers to you. But throughout your interactions with most customers, whether they're consciously aware of it or not, you'll notice that customers are putting you on a spot just to see how you'll react. Customers will range from flirting to serious interview questions. Don't sit there answering questions like you're on a game show, hoping that if you accumulate enough points that your customer will choose you. Good Lord. Because what you won't realize is that you'd actually be losing simply by submitting to that ridiculous test. So screening allows you to flip the script and see if the customer that you're interested in even meets your standards. So before doing this, know exactly what your standards are. Your ideal customer, list like 5 specific criteria that they should possess, different qualities, right? Then list 5 deal breakers, and these would prevent you from making any particular sales call on a particular type of person. And then keep in mind that because you haven't met everyone in the whole entire world, this is purely a focusing exercise, not meant to limit your range, because there's an endless list of criteria from which to screen people with. A very effective method is to use push and pull. This is the opposite of disqualification. Or should I say it's the pairing of qualification, disqualification, these opposites, right? When you use them together, it becomes very powerful, because when a customer does something good, you give them positive accepting statements like, I like your attitude. Customer says, I like this car. I like your attitude. If they say something that could be perceived as negative, do you pick people up after service? Tease them with some kind of disqualifier. Note to self, be careful buying this one a coffee. But taking control of an interaction by alternating back and forth between these two poles of punishment, reward, validation, invalidation, approval, disapproval, between yourself, qualification and disqualification, between yourself and the customer, this push and pull, it amplifies that sales conversation. And so dole it out humorously, not cruelly, right? Give your customer a point system. Let them even know about it as just a game. Hey, customer, because you did this, I give you 20 points. That minus 10, right? And that when they get to 100, they get maybe said gift like a wreath of bowl of flowers. You could even prematurely tell the customer that they're your girlfriend on the spot for now, or just on exclusive days, and momentarily later break up with them. Other ways that you could do this, you could save the customer from you, right? Trying Is that a payslip? Good Lord, good heavens, exquisite. Right? When you say this in a superior way, you actually end up conveying the opposite. You can reverse roles. You know, everything that a customer doesn't want a salesperson to do, you could accuse the customer of doing to you. So while you're telling them about the features of this product, they ask you a question and you say to them, hey, easy now. I'm not just gonna give you my money. Tell me more. Alright, engage me more. Alright, you could employ your customer as well. Jokingly offer to hire your customer as your assistant. Some job that they'd never do. Fire them moments later. You could be the snob, or saying any immature thing that you could expect a drunk customer to say. Things like, yeah, you would say that, or whatever. Such things delivered playfully really can go the distance. Right? You can be the authority figure, being almost like your parents were towards you. Right? Telling the customer, hey, you're getting on my nerves. You're in big trouble now. You just earned yourself detention, things like that. Make your customer compete. Threaten to leave to talk to your other customers, or the tea lady, or some interesting person over there. Challenge your customer, right? Tell your customer that you're not sure if they're cool enough, if they're well off enough, if they're savvy enough to be working with you guys. And even though disqualifiers might not come easily, the list is actually endless. And even though it might go against everything you've been raised to say by your sales parents, even though it goes against everything that they're raising you to say, right? Around your customer, it's not as difficult as you might imagine. Tone is everything, except for when you're actually screening someone to see if they meet your sales criteria. But most disqualifiers should be delivered playfully. If you appear serious or upset when you accuse your customer, for instance, of hitting on you or not being cool enough for you, they might actually think you're psycho, hey? So deliver them casually, offhand, not seeking a reaction, evaluate the situation before getting too hardcore with any material, and be ready to take it back, because after you dish it out to these customers, I promise you, man, they're gonna fuck your shit up. But you're definitely gonna close more sales, guys, so